You've probably seen countless transformation ads. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you did like the keto, the intermittent fasting, you did a 21-day fix, you even tried like some type of cleanse, right? Maybe you even hit the gym, you lost a few pounds, but then only to kind of see them creep back. Or maybe you even hired a trainer. You tracked all your stuff on MyFitnessPal. You binge watched a crap ton of YouTube videos. And yet now, here you are again, watching yet another video. And if you're anything like me, this is probably not your first time trying to figure everything out to lose weight and to get healthy and to build momentum. I'm not gonna waste your time with just crazy hype. I'm not here to scream some new diet, some weight loss crazy method, some new supplement, or pretend this is some overnight miracle. What I am gonna do is walk you through a simple change that helped me and over 400 others lose weight, lose fat, rebuild confidence, and actually stay consistent. No crash diets, no cutting out carbs, no endless cardio, and definitely not starving yourself. But more importantly, I'm gonna help you understand why none of the other stuff ever actually worked. Because the truth is, it's not your fault. And I know firsthand that phrase gets thrown around in every cheesy marketing video, but I actually mean it. Because the truth is, you've been told what they want you to hear. Just enough to sell you their weight loss program or the latest BS supplement. Not what you actually need to hear. You've been given the wrong tools, the wrong advice, the wrong plan, and definitely, unfortunately, the wrong mindset and perspective on weight loss and staying healthy. So today, we're gonna fix all of it. Not with hype, but with something real. And it starts with me being honest with you about how I actually got here. So, if we've never met, my name's Adam. A lot of people call me or know me as Puffy. And no, I wasn't born fit. I didn't actually grow up with a six-pack or shredded arms, right? I wasn't the kid running drills at football practice. I was a kid avoiding gym class. I would literally skip it, right? Because I didn't want to take my shirt off, because I wasn't athletic, because I wasn't confident. In fact, for most of my life, I was always the biggest guy in every room. The one who always pulled out his shirt, hoping that it would hide his belly, or wear oversized clothes. The one who laughed off the jokes before they could sting. I would call myself fat before other people could. And that was me for almost my entire life. So by the time I was like 17, I weighed 370 pounds. I had sleep apnea that left me tired no matter how much I slept. I barely could climb a single flight of stairs. Like my knees would buckle halfway up. I used to make the joke that was like my yearly cardio exercise. I sweated through every shirt that I owned, even in winter. I stopped taking photos. I stopped going to pool. I stopped looking in mirrors altogether. I would literally wear hoodies in the middle of summer just to hide my body. And I was exhausted. And I was incredibly depressed. But more than anything, I just felt like really stuck. I remember going on an airplane and it was like a giant embarrassment. I needed the seatbelt extender just to literally buckle in. Don't get me started on dating, because I avoided that like altogether. And it wasn't because I didn't want to meet someone, but because I couldn't imagine anyone actually wanting me. I would skip birthdays, I'd skip parties, I would skip like get-togethers with friends. And when people asked me why, I always had some BS excuse. But the actual truth, I really just couldn't face the world when I couldn't even face myself. There's a quote that I like, if you can't love yourself, how are you gonna love someone else? Because every time I looked in the mirror, I absolutely hated what I saw. And yeah, I tried everything. It was not for a lack of trying. I did the keto, I did the Weight Watchers, I did the Jenny Craig, I did the Bernstein, I did the Herbal Magic, I did the weight loss shakes, I did the fitness apps, I bought the Biggest Loser DVDs, I would do a 1200 calorie meal plan and cut my calories to the bone. I would try to become David Goggins and run marathons thinking that would work. You know, I downloaded all these fitness apps. I even paid for coaching. And every time I told myself, this is it. And for a moment, it felt like it actually might be. I'd lose a few pounds. I'd feel that little spark of hope, but then I would binge. Or I'd miss one workout that turned into an entire week. Or I'd fall off completely after one bad weekend, because that was a reoccurring cycle, right? And just like that, I was back to where I started. And then I'd spiral, and then I'd spiral hard. And I don't mean just like skipping a workout or eating a lot of crap for a day. Like, I'm talking about full-blown depression. Hundreds of hours lost to gaming, delivery meals stacked at my door, days where I didn't even leave the house, sometimes barely left my bed, just literally to use the washroom. I was numb, using the high I get from food and video games to pretty much avoid the truth. Because deep down, I didn't think there was a way out. I actually started to believe that maybe this was just me, this was my life. Maybe I was just meant to be the big guy, right? Maybe this was my life, and maybe I just had to actually accept it. But then something shifted. I actually just hit a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I asked myself one question, a question that changed literally everything. What if I'm focusing on the wrong things? What if the problem isn't me or the diet or the motivation? What if it's actually something else? Now, this forced me to think entirely differently. And that's when I discovered something that finally made all the weight loss progress I'd been chasing for years actually happen. Once this clicked in my mind, I lost over 150 pounds in 14 months. And plus, the most important thing, I was able to keep it off. I never gained it back. And my physique kept getting better and better. Even when I'm not eating healthy, and even when I'm skipping exercises every now and then, because I'm not working out every day, even when I go out and eat with friends, or go and see family on the weekend, there wasn't a giant change. But this got me thinking, can this work for other people too? I mean, everybody's different, right? So what worked for me might not actually work for everyone. But after seeing that this has worked for 400 plus others every day, mom, dads, busy professionals, people with ADHD, people with autism, people who have tried thousands of 20, 50, 100 diets before, people like me who have failed 5, 10, 20 other times, I'm convinced that what I'm about to share with you can work for pretty much everybody, no matter the age, size, race, gender, no matter how you gained weight, if you were overweight since forever, since you were a kid, if you gained a little bit of weight just even recently. Now, you're probably waiting for me to reveal the thing. So I'm going to explain it very clearly, so make sure you pay close attention. So let me start by helping you realize something that you're probably not really aware of. You see, you do not have a motivation problem. You have a discipline problem. You don't even have a knowledge problem. What you have is an identity problem. Now, what the hell does that even mean, right? Have you ever started a new plan and felt amazing the first couple of days? You know, you're eating clean, you're tracking your meals, you hit the gym, maybe even lost a couple pounds. Your clothes fit better, your energy's up. You feel like this might actually be the one. But then, one rough day at work, one skipped workout, one bad weekend, and suddenly you're back in the drive-through line spiraling and telling yourself and thinking to yourself, I'll just restart Monday again. And that cycle, that's not about food. That's not about effort or motivation. That's about your identity stopping you from losing weight. And you have probably experienced this yourself. Whenever you're trying to lose weight, it might feel like a part of you just doesn't want you to lose weight. It's because when you try to move forward, there's like this metaphorical rubber band that's tied around your waist. And basically it's anchored to your past self so that it is so used to staying unhealthy and it is so used to staying overweight. So every time you make progress, that band stretches and the tension builds until it snaps. And then it pulls you back in to what it's used to, which is staying overweight. Now, that rubber band, that's the belief system that says, I always fail. I'm just big boned. I have a slow metabolism. My family has always been like this. It's just in my genetics. It's in my DNA. It's in my genes. I've never been a gym person. I'll always struggle with food. This is just how I am. Does that sound familiar, right? You don't need more willpower. You don't need more motivation or discipline. You need to cut that damn band. Because until you change your identity, nothing is gonna stick. You could have the greatest plan in the world. You could follow the best macros, okay? You can follow the best macros in the world. You could have a perfect meal plan, the perfect workout. You can do 10,000 steps a day and train with David Goggins 5 times a week. But deep down, if your identity is still stuck in that old version of yourself, the one that quits, the one that doesn't finish, the one that doesn't believe that they deserve to be fit and healthy, then eventually you will find a way to blow it all up. It's inevitable. Self-sabotage is just your brain trying to match your current actions to your old self-image. And this is exactly why people lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, but then they gain back 50 or they gain back 100 because they never changed the person doing the behavior. And that's what makes what I've done differently. This slight shift has helped me and 400 plus others reach our weight loss goals and solidify them, like keep it off for the rest of our life. Not up, not down, not bounce back, no yo-yo bullshit. Once you make this slight shift to your identity, you will not just conquer your weight loss, but you will also conquer your life. This will also help you achieve your financial goals, relationship goals, and pretty much anything you want because it's applicable to everything. But now, how exactly do you shift your identity? I'm gonna explain it to you in 3 simple steps. This is the part where it all clicks because here's what most people get wrong. They try to change their behavior without changing their beliefs. This is like spraying a room full of air freshener with a massive turd on the other side and in the middle of the corner of the other room. No matter how much Febreze or how much air freshener fragrance you spray, in other words, how much you diet or exercise, this bad smell doesn't go away unless you take the turd out of the room. You need to shift your self-sabotaging identity. So what I teach is called the mirror method. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about grinding 24/7, burn the boats. Who's going to carry the boats 24/7? It's not about guilt. It's not about shame or restriction. It's a simple 3-step system that rewires your identity, that simplifies your actions, and locks in wins that actually matter. So let's break it down. The first step is your mindset rewire. We don't start with meal plans. We start with your inner script. This is that voice inside your head that always whispers to yourself, I'm lazy. I never finish anything. It's just my genetics. I always fall off. This won't last. I've failed too many times. That voice that you hear all the time, it's been running the show for years. So before we track a single calorie, we kill that script. So the first part of this process is we're gonna write down every negative thought that pops into your head when you think about losing weight. You know, the stuff that you tell yourself all the time, like, I'm not a gym person, I'm addicted to food, this is just how I've always been. Then you ask yourself, why do I believe this? Where did this story, where did this identity come from? Is it actually true? Or is it just something that you started saying to protect yourself from failing again? I would know because I've done this myself. Because maybe someone once told you that you're not athletic. Or maybe you skipped the gym a few times, you fell off, and just started believing that it wasn't for you, right? And again, I've done that myself. Maybe your cravings got so out of control, you just stopped fighting them, and instead you just started coping by saying you were addicted. We keep peeling back the layers. We keep asking why until it gets uncomfortable. Because here's the truth. When you find the real reason, you'll feel it. I'm not gonna lie, it'll sting a little. You're not really gonna wanna admit this, but this is exactly how you know you finally have hit something real. This is where the breakthrough starts to happen. So the second step, once you've uncovered the real reason behind your own limiting beliefs, the next step is quite simple. We start replacing them. So we begin to introduce new beliefs that actually serve you. For example, if your belief was, I can't lose weight because I always fall off, and then you discovered the real reason, that it was just simply fear of failing. But then you start saying, I can lose weight. That old belief came from fear, not fact. I have zero problems with staying consistent. The only reason I failed last time was because I didn't have the right tool. Now I do. So losing weight is 100% possible. When you understand where the belief came from, it loses its grip on you. And now you can move forward without shame, without restriction, and without carrying your old script. Step number 3, the final step. You start journaling your new beliefs every single day until they stop feeling like affirmations and they start actually feeling like the truth. I still do this every morning without fail. And within a month, everything started to shift. That's when I got on my diet. But a diet isn't a diet if you can actually stick to it for the rest of your life, right? So week 1, I stuck to it. No cravings, no cheat urges, no mental battles. But I'll be honest, part of me still thought that I'd actually fall off. Week 2 came. Still no urge to binge, no skipping workouts, no inner voice trying to pull me back. Then week number 3, week number 4. Before I knew it, 3 whole months had actually gone by, and I'd completely forgotten what it even felt like to fall off track. For the first time ever, I could stick to a plan effortlessly. There was no guilt, there was no burnout, and there was no second guessing. That's the mirror method. The 3 simple steps to shift your identity. But it doesn't stop there. Because once you've changed who you are, you still need a weight loss plan that's made for you. You don't need some cookie cutter routine from YouTube, or some BS fitness app, or some jacked guy on Instagram who doesn't have a clue. Not a crash diet, not a one size fits all approach or plan, because that doesn't work. You need a real plan that's built around your body, your lifestyle, and your goals. Now, when you actually do that, you don't just lose weight. So you become unstoppable. Just like Luca, he was a gamer. He was depressed. He used food to cope just like myself. He hasn't stepped foot in a gym in years. We started slow, we built momentum, and then he lost 120 pounds, and now he actually trains others. Just like Johnny. He wanted to look good for his wedding. He tried every diet under the sun. Now, with the mirror method, he dropped 30 pounds, and he walked down the aisle confident. And obviously he looked amazing in his tux, and we got a cool photo of it. And just like Colin, he's a dad of 2. He worked long hours on blood pressure meds and cholesterol meds. We built a system around his job and his family, and he lost 150 pounds. He got off all of his meds, and now he plays soccer with his kids every weekend. These are not genetic freaks. These are not bodybuilders or influencers. They're just real people with real struggles who were finally given a real system. And the only thing that separates them from you right now is that they took the first step. Here's where we go from here. You've honestly got 2 options. Option 1, you close this video. You close this tab. You continue to scroll Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube, right? And you try to piece everything together on your own. You'll probably spend months spinning your wheels, making beginner mistakes. You just guess, you maybe hope, You try to figure out the mirror method, but never quite getting it right. And honestly, odds are you're probably just gonna fall back right into the same cycle. Or the second option, you let me help you shift your identity the right way, without confusion, without frustration, or a lot of wasted time, because I've been through this myself. And so that way you can build a never self-sabotaging mindset and finally stick to your weight loss plan without falling off, without it bouncing back. We'll also build a tailored plan for you that includes a custom meal plan that fits your lifestyle, so you don't have to eat chicken every day to grow feathers out of your butt. We would make a simple workout strategy, no 20-hour gym sessions, 30 minutes, 60 minutes top. Small, easy to follow lifestyle change that lead to massive results. And these are all designed to help you lose weight sustainably, without restriction, without burnout, or starting over every Monday or next month or the new year. So here's what happens once you get on that call. You or I, or someone I've personally trained, will hop on a quick call and we will map out what you've tried in the past, where you keep getting stuck, what's your schedule, what's your energy, and what's your cravings looking like, what you've done in the past, and how we could actually apply the mirror method to your life. This is not some cookie cutter PDF, I promise you that. This is not some generic calorie calculator. This is a real call where we build your blueprint. And if it makes sense and you're a fit, cool. We will talk about coaching and the next step. If not, there's zero pressure. There is not going to be a hurt. You will walk away with a better strategy than you had before, guaranteed. But I want to be real with you here. This isn't for everyone. I only take on about 5 new clients per month because this isn't some giant mass market, sell it and forgetting coaching program. This is personal. I actually care about you and I actually care about your result. And I only work with people who are ready to commit, not just kind of interested. I just want to see what you're doing. So if you're serious, if you're tired of starting over, if you're finally ready to become that next version of you, book the call. Let's figure this out together. Now, if you've made it to the end of this video, you're already not the same person you were, because the old you, they might have already quit. They might have watched the first 30 seconds and like, yeah, I've heard that before, right? They might have opened TikTok instead. They might have told themselves, I'll do it later, right? But you watching this right now, you stayed. You're still here, which tells me there's a version of you deep down that actually wants to believe in it, that wants to believe in yourself again, that wants this to finally be the time that you make this stick. So let's do it. Not perfectly, I promise you, not all at once, not 0 to 60, but step by step, starting with this first one. Click the button, click somewhere on the screen, book the call. Let's make this the last time you ever need to start over again. I got you. Talk to you soon.